Welcome to the Gold Plus Roundup, the monthly show where we review every single Games with Gold and PlayStation Plus free game. Here are our reviews for all the games that you got for September. First up, we have Destiny 2, which is a great first-person shooter, quasi-open world, quasi-RPG online experience. If you play Destiny, it's basically Destiny Plus. It's not bad, it just lacks a little bit of the openness of the original. There is a ton of additional content that unfortunately was not bundled in the PlayStation offering, but if you enjoy this, there's so much more to dive into in the Destiny universe. It is one of the better online experiences, that is until Anthem or something else like that comes out, which may dethrone it. Who's to say what'll happen in the future, but right now Destiny 2's pretty good, pretty fun, and definitely worth your time.
God of War 3 continues the gameplay, over-the-top story, and gore that made the first two great. The abilities continue to be both fun to use and beautiful to watch, especially with the remaster bringing it up from the PS3 days. It also has one of my favorite battles of the entire series, versus Poseidon at the very beginning. Going back to only ever angry Kratos feels a bit shallow after this year's Nordic entry, but the gameplay holds up well, and it's just fun to play. If you enjoy hack-and-slash action games, this is probably right up your alley, but don't expect too much in the realm of character development if you've only played the PS4 God of War game.
Prison Architect was free for Xbox One from September 1st through September 30th, and it definitely accomplishes what it wanted to accomplish. It set out its goal of creating a prison planning simulation, but unfortunately it wavers in between the idea of trying to make it humorous and also trying to be dark. It's a weird equilibrium that this game holds in regards to its story and in regards to its gameplay. The gameplay isn't bad, allowing you to fast forward through builds or fast forward through demolitions, and there are some interesting events that happen. If you've played any games like SimCity or anything like that, you're familiar with disasters that happen and you have to deal with them to minimize casualties and make sure people are happy, but in this case you're making sure that the prison population is happy while continuing to profit off of those who've been incarcerated. Political opinions aside, the game is okay. It just would have been better if they'd picked one tone and just stuck with it.
Foul Play was my personal highlight of the month. It's a beat-em-up with a fun twist. The whole game takes place on a stage, and instead of health, you work on keeping the audience into the performance. When you hit, knock bad guys into props, or string together substantial combos, they go wild, giving you moves with a little extra power. Combat is fairly simple, but settles well within the easy-to-learn, tough-to-master category. The characters are as ridiculous and over-the-top as you'd expect, and while you can play it single player, you'll get the most out of this game if you've got a friend to play it with you.
Livelock for Xbox One is free from September 16th through October 15th, and it's probably one of the better twin-stick shooters I've played this year. It's unfortunate that Kevin did not get to play this because this was really, really good. The graphics are impressive, the shadows, everything is impressive in regards to that, and the animations when switching between weapons and power-ups are unique and actually make you feel like you're doing something other than shooting a different colored projectile. I highly recommend this to anybody who enjoys twin-stick shooters, as it's probably one of the better on the market, and it actually works and lends itself very well to the Xbox One's ability. This game plays extremely well on PC, and it actually works pretty well on Xbox One as well.
Knowledge is Power is a PlayLink title that allows up to 4 people to play trivia on their mobile phones while doing silly things to block each other's views, gang up on the point leader, and generally do all the kinds of emoting that you'd expect from a giant guy in a hot dog mascot suit. I don't know how long before you run out of questions, but I did see a couple that I'd seen before with games for multiple systems. It's a fun Jackbox style game, and it's free, so give it a try next time you're running a party.
LEGO Star Wars 3: The Clone Wars was free Xbox 360, backwards compatible to Xbox One, and what can I say? It's LEGO and it's Star Wars and it's amazing. It may not be one of the best LEGO Star Wars games, but you know, that's like saying that it's not that great of a cheeseburger. It's still a cheeseburger and you're gonna enjoy it. If you liked any of the previous games, you'll enjoy this. It is still better than the LEGO Indiana Jones and LEGO Harry Potter. It is one of the better LEGO series, and I highly enjoy it. The action in this game is great, the platforming is, well, it's okay, but the replayability is wonderful. Being able to unlock characters and then play missions again as the character you unlocked and opening up new areas and new unlockables is really cool. I highly recommend this game.
Another World is, in my opinion, atrocious. It's an action version of a point-and-click adventure Tim Schafer game. After the game's intro, I only got to the 4th screen before I died repeatedly trying to jump over some poisonous worms. After about 10 minutes of making no progress, I gave up. I've watched the game, and while it seems strange and bizarre, it doesn't look intuitive or really fun. Many times I couldn't even tell why the character was shooting, jumping, or waiting. Seems like a game very similar to Dragon's Lair, where you're supposed to die on every screen until you figure out what the game wants you to do. And while that might be appealing for some people, it's definitely not for me.
The Sega Vintage Collection Monster World, which Xbox 360, backwards compatible to Xbox One, is actually really good. It's a series that I'd not played before. I mean, this is an action platformer from the Sega Master System, the arcade, and the Sega Genesis. 3 completely different architectures, and the menu system actually shows this as you start to play each one. It starts, strangely enough, with the 2nd in the series, then 5th in the series, and 6th. That's Wonder Boy in Monsterland, Wonder Boy in Monster World, and then Monster World 4. While that may be a little confusing, if you just ignore the numbers, it's fun, it's fine, it's wonderful. It's like playing Final Fantasy. Doesn't matter which one you played first, just go in and enjoy it. Side note is on this is you can actually play the songs from the soundtrack in a sound test mode and listen into each channel, which is really cool to see how the Genesis architecture worked. I recommend this to anybody who enjoys retro platformers because this is definitely something up your alley if you've played any of those. I don't know if it's as good as Big Nose, but I really enjoy it.
QUBE Director's Cut was a first-person puzzle game with a story setup that's more interesting than the gameplay. You're stranded on a very bland, nondescript puzzle environment divided into 9 sectors. A disembodied voice says you probably have amnesia, and not to worry about it, just solve the puzzles and all of humanity might not perish. Like I said, fun setup, but I found it more frustrating than fun, especially when in the 4th area the whole area goes dark and you have to solve basically the same puzzles you've been solving, but without being able to see all the pieces at once. I'd only recommend it if you're into simple mechanics in just every possible permutation and doing trial and error until you succeed, just to go to the next room and do it again. Like I said, it has a great story and it's well told with excellent performances, but it's a shame that that story is stuck behind such a frustrating game. Sparkle 2 takes tower defense and pairs it with match 3. The balls will slowly approach the portal, and your objective is to match them all up before that happens. The stage variety is decent, and a few power moves keep it from getting too stale, but gameplay really isn't anything new. As you beat levels, you'll unlock a bare-bones story with a couple of paintings about a force that's pushing you to keep a mysterious evil from coming through the portals you're protecting. I wouldn't really recommend it, unless you have nothing else to keep you company.
So let us know in the comments what your favorite game was this month, and do you think PlayStation or Xbox had a better offering? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.